Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Tiffany here. I just wanted to come to you guys and chat with you a little bit tonight about some stress eating. If you're watching this on replay, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on here and just listen to a few things that I have to say. So it's Monday, and it was kind of a stressful day for me. I don't know about how it has been for you guys, but that's kind of why I wanted to touch on this stress eating thing, because I used to be such a stress eater. And I have notes here because I feel like it's an important topic, and I feel like especially, well, not even just especially women, men do it too. I know a bunch of men who stress eat. And so I feel like it's an important topic to kind of tackle. And so that's why I took some notes so that I can hit everything that I want to hit. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining me. Oh, turn it back. Sorry. That's our humidifier for the room, family room. So, 5 reasons you can't stop stress eating. So reason number 1 is just complete unawareness. Some people just aren't aware that they're eating. Therapists call this unconscious eating. And it's basically just eating food because it's in front of you. So, when you are out at a restaurant and you're done eating, you're full, but you still just kind of keep picking at your food because it's just there in front of you, even though you had every intention of taking some of it home and like eating the leftovers. Or, like I know for me, it used to be when we would have people over to like play games or play, cards or something, we would have snacks just out around on the table, and I would just constantly be eating the snacks because they were right there in front of me. So just being unaware of the fact that you're eating just because food's right there in front of you. So that is one form of stress eating. So another reason that you might not be able to stop stress eating is because food is your only pleasure. So the reason food, hi Dre, thanks for jumping on here. The reason it's called comfort food is because eating sugars releases opioids in your brain. And these opioids that get released in your brain are the same thing that get released in your brain when you do cocaine and heroin and other narcotics. That's right. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine, heroin, and other narcotics. And so no wonder it's called comfort food. It's because it releases those opioids in your brain and it makes you feel good. I mean, it's a chemical thing that happens in your brain. And so the calming effect of those opioids is why they're called comfort foods, why sugar calms you down and it helps you feel better about whatever stress is happening or whatever emotional state you're having to deal with. So the problem with the comfort food is that because those opioids that are being released in your brain are more addictive than cocaine, heroin, and other narcotics, kicking sugar habits and kicking the comfort food habit can be harder than kicking a drug habit. Think about it. Let that sink in for just a second. So when you're stress eating, you have those stressors. Hey, Tammy, thanks for jumping on here. You have those stressors and you feel like nothing else can help you. You feel like you're not getting any other pleasure, any other satisfaction in your life. So you turn to food and those opioids get released and you feel better. So there's a physiological reason that food makes you feel better. It affects your brain. Sugar affects your brain severely. So that's another reason why it's hard to stop stress eating or emotional eating. Number 3, so some people have just a hard time tolerating or dealing with difficult feelings. So when you have something that triggers your emotions and it's hard to deal with and nobody likes feeling bad. Nobody likes having those feelings of discomfort or pain or emotional hurt. Hi, Faith. Thanks for jumping on here. And so it circles back around to that opioid thing where we know that those bad feelings go away when we have those foods, and physiologically in your brain, they do. because you have your drug, you know what I mean? Like you have that sugar high that is more powerful than cocaine, and then you start feeling better, and you don't have to tolerate those bad feelings anymore. You don't have to deal with those anymore because you have your sugar going on in your brain. And so that's where emotional eating can cause trouble, because your brain is saying, I don't want to deal with these emotions. I don't want to deal with these feelings. So give me sugar so I can have that high. And then another thing, or another reason that it's hard to stop stress eating or stop emotional eating, is body hate. Some people hate their bodies and like I've been there. Listen, I don't like the way I look right now. I am not where I would like to be. But body hate is one of the biggest emotional factors in emotional eating and stress eating. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for jumping on here. So dislike of your body and looking at yourself and just being, I know some women have described it as disgust or whatever it is you feel, is one of the biggest emotional triggers in your brain to say, ugh, I don't like this. I don't like the way I look, but I don't like the way I feel when I look at myself. And so now I want to eat. And that makes it worse. And it's just kind of a cycle. It's that vicious cycle that I talked about the other night. Hey, thanks, Kelly. So you get in this vicious cycle of, oh, I hate my body. I need something to get rid of these feelings. Sugar, opioid effect, happiness. I hate my body, sugar, or oh, I hate my body, hate these feelings, sugar, opioid effect. So it's again that vicious cycle. And so when you get into stress eating, negative feelings and shame and hatred are rarely going to inspire you to do real change. It's going to drive you deeper into those negative feelings. So a lot of people will say, oh man, when so there you go, Kelly. Relieving stress by walking and eating. So that's what we're talking about, the stress eating part of it. So a lot of people will say, man, if I could hit that one weight, or if I could hit that one body composition, if I could lose such and such amount of fat, then I'll start feeling better about myself. Hi, Bev. Thanks for jumping on here. Then I'll start feeling better about myself. Then I'll stop hating myself, but in reality, until you stop hating your own body, until you, start giving yourself a little bit of that self-love and that self-confidence, you're never going to get to your goal weight, because you're going to get back into that vicious cycle. And it's a hard cycle to break. And it's again, like I talked about the other night, it's a mental thing. You have to break it mentally before you can break it physically, because again, you're going to get back into your brain not wanting to deal with those negative emotions that you feel when you have that body hate. And it's going to crave that sugar high so it can have those opioids, so it can feel better, so it doesn't have to deal with those negative emotions and those negative feelings. And then the last point I want to talk about, again, sorry guys, if you see me looking down, it's because I took notes, because I didn't want to miss anything on here, because I think this is a really, really important thing to talk about. But the last point I want to make is physiology. Just letting yourself get too hungry or too tired. So if you let yourself get too hungry or too tired, then you're not going to be on like your A game. So if you're too hungry, you're going to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat before you realize you're full, and then you're going to overfill yourself. And that's going to cause problems down the road. Or if you get too tired, you think, oh, I don't want to cook the right things. I don't want to cook healthy things. This is easier. Like I said the other night in the vicious cycle, like if you haven't seen my video about the vicious cycle, go and watch that too, because this kind of touches on the same thing, that if you get too tired, you're not going to want to cook. It's easier to go through a drive-through and you're just tired. Hey, Hillary, thanks for jumping on here. Appreciate that. So physiologically, if you get too hungry or too tired, that's going to cause emotional and stress eating as well. Hi, Jerry. Thanks for jumping on here. Hi, Lynette. Thanks for jumping on here. So to just kind of recap, There's 5 reasons that you can't stop stress eating, and that's unawareness or unconscious eating, where you're just eating food that's right in front of you just because it's in front of you. Yeah, that'll do it. I've done that too. Yo-yoing is hard. Hi Brittany, thanks for jumping on here. So again, unconscious eating, food is your only pleasure, and it's that opioid effect that gets released because of the sugar, and sugar being more addictive than cocaine and heroin, because it releases those opioids in your brain, and your brain really likes those. So that's another reason, because it makes it harder to kick than a drug habit. Inability to tolerate difficult feelings. So when your brain gets overloaded with negative feelings or emotions, all it wants is that sugar that's going to make it feel better, because it releases that opioids. Sorry guys. Hi Britt. Body hate. So we have to realize that in order to get to our goal weights, we can't hate our bodies. We have to love them before we can reach our goal weight, because the negative feelings are going to circle back around and keep you in that vicious cycle. And then the last one is physiology. Don't let yourself get too tired or too hungry, because then you're not going to want to, you're either going to overeat because you're too hungry, or you're not going to want to cook the right things, and go for the quicker option. I know, me too, Bev. Ice cream. I love it. You're going to want to go for the quicker option, which usually is not as healthy. So if you are an emotional or stress eater, like I used to be, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are still times where I get super, super stressed, and I eat my feelings. I'm not perfect by any means. It happens to all of us. And brownies, and those keep me from killing my husband once a month. Just saying. Right, Brittany? I know. I feel you, sister. So, if you are an emotional or a stress eater, I want to tell you that it's okay to ask for help. So like I said, it's like harder than kicking a drug habit. And in order to kick a drug habit, especially one that involves cocaine or heroin, or like drugs that are strong as cocaine or heroin, because sugar is more addictive than either one of those, you're going to need help to kick those. Hi, Josh. Thanks for jumping on here. And in order to kick those, you have to have help. So if you are a stress or an emotional eater, you're going to need help to kick that habit as well. You're going to need help to kick your sugar habits. It's very, very, very hard to do it alone. So let me walk with you on that journey. Let me help you kick those habits. If you have any questions, I would love, love, love to answer your questions. Shoot me a message on Messenger. Let's chat. Let's set some goals. Let's get some accountability going so that you have the ability to succeed. Okay. That's what I want. I want there to be success. I want there to be a healthier lifestyle for you. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me on here. I really appreciate you taking your time to listen to me and chat with me. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on Messenger. I would love to talk to you, chat with you, and get you started on some goal setting, and get you on that road to success and becoming a healthier you. All right, guys, I hope everybody else has a great Monday night and a good rest of the week. And